So it's been almost 2 years since your last work, which was The Wolf of Wall Street. And is there any particular reason on choosing The Revenant as your return on screen?
I never really choose a type of film to do just because I want to do something different. Although, you know, to me, everything that I've chosen is heavily reliant on the filmmaker and the experience that I'm going to have with them. Working with Alejandro is a unique experience. He's a very transcendent, sort of unique filmmaker, and I knew having this particular journey with him was going to be, you know, a long one, an endurance test, but something that would create something quite beautiful and magical up on screen. He's gonna, to do an epic with him in the real elements, a period piece like this was gonna involve us pushing ourselves to the limit, but I knew that being there in this environment with him would create something that was groundbreaking, and I think that's what he achieved. There's certain sequences in this movie for me that are absolutely revolutionary from a cinematic perspective. I don't know how he did them, but it was months and months and months of preparation and thought that went into each and every sequence of this movie.
Okay. Second question is, there were lots of like extreme action scenes, such as battling bears, riding horses and shooting guns, and then there was even getting buried alive in the ground. How was your condition during the filming?
We all tried to stay in the best possible conditions physically that we could. There was weight loss going on. But the main culprit for all of us, the main enemy, was always the cold. We shot in sub-zero temperatures a lot of the time, and the landscape would constantly be changing. You know, we'd have to adapt to the circumstances in nature, and we'd have to, you know, improvise sometimes to adapt to things that weren't planned. But that was the part of what was exciting about it. We weren't in a sound studio. We were out there in the real elements trying to recreate this man's life, and so you're gonna have to act accordingly.
I heard you even suffered hypothermia.
I didn't suffer hypothermia, but it was a constant struggle not to, because I mean that was the main thing for all of us, was how do we endure these conditions. But it's a real testament to these men that were able to really do this. We got to go home to a warm, you know, home and trailer, but these men, these mountain men, were real amazing pioneers, and they showed how resilient, you know, human beings can be under all conditions.
All right. What did you most like about Hugh Glass, about his character in the story?
I think that, you know, more so than anything, Hugh Glass is almost like a campfire legend. He really did travel through hundreds of miles of freezing wilderness after a bear attack to reap revenge on the men that left him for dead. But he's a symbol of the new American spirit at that time, the idea of being able to survive against all odds, to be able to dominate nature, so to speak. And that's why this story has perpetuated from generation to generation. It's the ultimate extreme, you know, circumstances put against a human being and how they react to it. And it's all true with Hugh Glass's story. So I think Alejandro, within that storyline, wanted to find the poetry and the spirituality of this man's journey, and that's what hopefully we put up on screen.
Okay. Last question is that it's your second time working with Tom Hardy. How was it different from last time?
Well, this was a much different type of experience, and I really pursued getting Tom Hardy in this movie because I knew that he would bring a great humanity to this sort of character that could be seen as just a bad guy or an evil character. He brought a tangibility and an understanding that this is a man just trying to survive like anybody else. Even though he's an extreme racist, he's greedy, and he'll, you know, screw his best friend over in order to survive, something about his performance makes you identify with his journey. And he's remained a good friend of mine, and I think he's one of the best actors out there, and I really wanted to have him be the flip side to Hugh Glass's coin, to the coin of Hugh Glass in this movie.